called climate remediation. That's the same thing. Climate remediation does not mean that someone's going to do something about your climate and stop droughts and stop floods or do something drastic. Climate remediation means solar radiation management. It means that we're going to put up particles and chemicals like sulfur or aluminum oxide,
coal ash,
which are supposedly going up to reduce the amount of direct sunlight reaching the Earth. I'm going to talk about the implications for several things as I go through the presentation, but I want you to know that these words are real, that the words that you're going to hear from me are a way to manipulate us into not knowing what the word means and therefore not being able to empower ourselves and take action. So as I go through this presentation, I want all of you to think about what actions you can take. And I'd like you can't probably, I don't know if you can read it, but it says, how do you like your skies, your weather, natural or man-made? And some of them you can look up and see. The photograph here shows a sky picture that was taken over Las Vegas, Nevada. And it's got man-made clouds in it. It's got persistent jet contrails. It's got white haze in it. And that's what our skies are going to look like all the time. If some of these activities that are ongoing are allowed to continue, we will have days in which we don't see direct sunlight at all reaching the Earth and benefiting us. And we're seeing this now in many cases. You're seeing the clouds that you see are not real. They are man-made. And the jets, according to everything we know, the jets produce these types of clouds, and these types of clouds, NASA, the U.S. government, many agencies, Stanford University studies, all talk about as being man-made clouds. In other words, they're not formed by real weather fronts coming in and in other words, the real climate cycle. So they're man-made. So some of what you're going to see in the skies from now on are man-made.
Go and check, and all of these PDFs talk about using aluminum as a nucleant, as they call it, for the purpose of weather modification. Okay, the first one here is called Experimental Investigations on the Ice-Forming Ability of Various Chemical Substances. And then in 1962, we had patent number 3,274,035, and the title of it is Metallic Composition for Production of Hygroscopic Smoke. And this patent was granted to Lore A. Burkhart and William G. Finnegan. And it describes how aluminum, barium, and strontium may be used as ingredients in, quote, a composition which produces hygroscopic smoke for use in influencing the weather. And then in 1964, we have U.S. patent number 3,140,207, and the title is Pyrotechnic Composition. And it's also authored by one author of the previous article I just mentioned, Lore A. Burkhart. That's L-O-H-R, middle initial A, last name B-U-R-K-A-R-D-T. And he and another author described how in Pyrotechnic Composition of 1964, this is a patent, he describes with the other author how aluminum can be used in compositions which have, quote, use in cloud seeding. I believe it's actually a completely counterfeit division of our military that's probably been created by the banksters without the proper authorizations and not through the proper channels. And I think that there's a cult of global warming attached to it as well. Number one is Raytheon. Everywhere you turn, it's Raytheon. They have all the HARP patents. They acquired Hughes Aerospace, which is probably a player in this project. They were big into radars, and I believe they worked in satellites as well. I'm actually
whoever's doing this should be